Welcome to the Discover Uncover podcast series. Curator of Collections, Jeff Whitcox, and our Community Engagement Coordinator, Jerome will take you on a journey back in time. We hope you come away with a deeper sense of Michigan's history and how the objects and stories of the past relate to today's culture, customs, and society. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy the Discover Uncover podcast series.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Discover Uncover podcast here at Sloan Museum of Discovery here in the great city of Flint, Michigan. I am Jerome Community Engagement Coordinator, and I am honored to be here with you. We have been having a blast having these podcasts, talking about various topics, fair housing, we've talked about the Hellcat tank destroyer, and so many other things. And today we are here to talk about something that is dear to me because I hate to tell my age, but I kind of remember the figure that we're going to be talking about today. And I am here with my wonderful co-host, none other than my twin today.
We are twinning it today.
We are twinning it today. Jeff Woodcock. Jeff, come on. Talk to us today and tell people why you looked in my closet.
Well, I thought about what I was going to be doing today, and I thought, today is the day to wear an oatmeal-colored sweater, and so here I am.
People say we're brothers, and I mean, at this point, I think they're right because we both chose to wear denim and oatmeal sweaters. What in the... So how are you?
I'm doing great. Great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Well, we are here to talk about a wonderful character that I know a lot about. His name is Bozo the Clown.
Bozo the Clown, that's right.
Bozo the Clown was around, I hate to tell my age, the fact that I remember Bozo, but I remember Bozo as a kid, and I remember one of the funnest parts I wanted to do was go on the show and be a part of the grand prize game, where they chose a boy and a girl to come out and throw the ball, and I always wanted to be on the show, but didn't. Unfortunately, never made it. So tell me about Bozo. Where did he come from?
Well, Bozo actually was kind of unlike a lot of TV shows that you have today where it's like syndicated, where you have it being filmed in a central film studio in a city like Boston or Los Angeles or somewhere like that. Instead, what they were doing is selling Bozo franchises so that individual TV stations could have their own Bozo TV shows. So at this time, late 1950s, early 1960s, ABC 12 has a mandate where they have to have a certain amount of locally produced programming, and Bozo was one of those shows, one of many. Yeah, we have a guy named Cady. He was our local Bozo here out of ABC 12 here in Flint. And he started there at the station in 1960, actually. So he had a different show called Mr. Magic, and then that ended in 1967 when they transitioned over to Bozo.
So he was our local Mr. Bozo.
He was.
All right. Well, tell me a little bit more about him. You said he served in the military?
He did, and we actually talked about him during one of our other episodes with the Hellcat tank destroyer. He got his start in broadcasting in World War II. He served in the U.S. Army and ended his time as a staff sergeant. He worked a mobile radio station over there. I believe it was in Italy, was where he was based out of. When he got back to the United States, he got into broadcasting and came here to Flint, late 1950s, early 1960s. So it's really kind of interesting how you become Bozo. You don't just sign up and buy a costume. You actually have to go to what they called a Bozo University.
Wait a minute, you can't just pick someone off the crowd and say, you got the right build for this suit.
Nope, very selective.
Okay.
So he apparently had to go to Boston and learn all of the mannerisms, learn how to do the makeup, learn how to put on the costume, all of that, learn the tricks, and then you would go out and do your franchise.
That is very interesting. And I never would have known that had you not just told me that.
I never would have guessed.
I thought Bozo was just, someone who wanted to be funny and just could fit the suit. Uh-huh. But no, they actually probably made the suit for the person who went through the class. Uh-huh. That is something to learn how to do the makeup. Uh-huh. I'm all into this. So I remember there was one thing about Bozo. So not only the wonderful color here. We can all see Bozo behind me, right? There we go. Look at him. Just look. But there's something missing. Jeff talked about the makeup, but there was something else very unique about Bozo. He had some hair.
A coif, if you will.
A coif, yes. And it had a unique color to it.
It did.
What was the color?
So yeah, big red giant wig. I mean, I think that's the thing that everybody remembers Bozo for, is that big wig. And we actually do have his wig. It's kind of like a skull cap, and the eyebrows are painted onto it. Unfortunately, it was just in too bad a shape to display. It no longer holds its shape anymore. And then the plastic has started to deteriorate somewhat, but we do have it.
So it's really funny when you say it no longer holds its shape anymore. The curls have fallen. So.
The curls have fallen.
So, I know when people come to the museum and they walk by, people are like, wow, that's Bozo. Like, why do you think that people are connected to, this artifact that we have?
Well, kids who grew up in the 60s and 70s, people of a certain age, a lot of them have personal experiences with this. We posted about this on the museum's social media last year, I think it was, and it was one of the most popular posts in recent memory. And a big part of that is that a lot of people were on the show. A lot of people met him in the grocery store. A lot of people, he visited their class. And it's kind of cool when you're a kid getting any kind of attention from the media, whether you end up in a newspaper, you end up on TV. It's a very cool experience. So I think that's why people have such a powerful attachment to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have an attachment, but it wasn't the local. It was, locally watching it on television, but it was when it was with WGN, I believe, out of Chicago. It's when I used to watch it on that station.
Same here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't know if they were reruns or if it was still.
I think they had to have been reruns. Yeah, because I was watching it in the 90s, and I don't think it was current then. So
awesome. Well, I just want to share, if any of you, while we're talking, if any of you have a personal connection with Bozo the Clown, if you have a personal experience of being on the show or meeting Bozo, or Bozo came to your class, we would love for you to write in or to call us and let us know about your experience, and we'll have to highlight that and catalog it in some way. And so, Jeff, tell me some more about Bozo. Anything else about his relevance in our community, or why, as a curator, you chose to have this artifact on display?
Well, as a curator, and you're trying to make connections to people, and the content that you're presenting in your exhibit is not going to be relevant unless it relates to them as a person. And so this seemed like a very good object because a lot of people do have personal stories. But we also got a donation of artifacts, including his costume, back in 2019, before the pandemic, from his son, who last I knew still lives in the area. It included a lot of his props, a lot of pictures and documents and things related to his time with ABC 12. And I actually brought up a few today if you want to talk about them.
Oh, I would love to talk about them.
There's some interesting ones. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is this magic trick that we have over here. And so I got to put on some gloves to handle this.
Watch out, folks. Jeff's got the gloves on.
We're official now. All right. And so do you have any idea what this is?
I have no idea what it is, but it looks like a chopper.
That's pretty close, actually. So this was from Frank Cady's time as Mr. Magic. It was a show where they would do magic tricks. They would invite local groups and kids on to perform talent and different things like that. But what you would do is stick your wrist through this hole, and then this blade would come down. And the idea was everybody thinks it's a solid sword and it's going to chop off your hand. You can extend the blade with this little tab so that it goes all the way across and all of that.
Yeah, let's just say I wouldn't trust my wrist.
Yeah, I'd be a little worried about that too.
That is pretty cool. Now there was another trick that you have for us. You put on gloves to bring the chopper over to us. Why did you put on gloves?
Yeah, so when we're handling museum artifacts, we do put on gloves. And the reason for it is that things like oils on your skin, any residue left over from any food that you've eaten, even the residue from the hand soap you use to wash your hands, over time that can react with artifact materials. With museums, we're talking about a time scale of centuries. And on that kind of a time scale, believe it or not, the oils from your skin can actually etch into the surface of metal over time. So we wear gloves to keep those kind of things off the materials and preserve them for a little bit longer.
Wow, that is outstanding. Another uncover.
Yes.
So you all are handling everything with gloves, safe gloves.
Yes, mostly.
For the artifacts.
Yes. So I had one other thing I wanted to show you.
Okay, I can't wait.
All right. And that is this giant comb to go along with Bozo's giant wig. You know, if you got big hair, you got to have a big comb, right?
I got big hair.
This might work for you.
Might work for me.
So we've got the super comb here.
And it definitely is a big comb. You see it here, folks. We got Bozo super comb. You wonder how you got those curls and got it to flip up? It wasn't just a comb. It was a super Bozo comb. Well, this is good stuff, and it's amazing to be able to go behind the scenes and get these other artifacts that help to tell this story. Is there anything else you would love to share with us about the Bozo?
I don't think so. I think I'm bozoed out here.
Are you bozoed out?
Bozoed out.
I don't want to just say to you, thanks so much for tuning in. Before we wrap it up, I just want to let everyone know that we do have a special telephone number that you can call to let us know your reactions to this, or give us even that personal account that you have with Bozo the Clown. That number is 810-237-3417. If you would like to email us, guess what? We've got an email address for you as well. It's podcast@sloanlongway.org. Again, podcast@sloanlongway.org. Thank you for tuning in, and look forward to you tuning into our next edition of the Discover Uncover podcast. Have a great day.